Number one thing for me is do work that makes you happy. And I think it shows in your work when you do work that makes you happy. And that doesn't mean that you did work for a client. Okay, so I think a lot of newbie designers don't feel like you need to show a client's work, because the reality is when you start in design, you'll find I have a major rule, for example, never show work that you don't like. And a lot of the times, clients like your least impressive piece of work to you. I think that's what happens a lot. So I never show a design that I don't personally like, and then I end up fighting for my design too. Sometimes you also have to convince people to like your design, and they turn around. So there's a salesmanship aspect to it. But I think the biggest tip is when you do work that makes you happy, that doesn't mean that you're doing work that you got paid for. So pick an imaginary project and pick an imaginary client, redesign their logo, redesign their website. You can put that as part of your portfolio. It is completely legitimate to do that. So I would say in that way, you can now come up with a lot of impressive portfolio pieces that, regardless if you got paid for it or not, are going to be something that will get you a gig or a job later.
I mean, I guess Tiger touched on that subject earlier where you actually do the things you love or choose the projects that you actually love. When you're a freelancer, I mean, you actually have that level of control in a way. You get to choose which clients and which projects, which companies you want to work with. So, I mean, there is a level of control that you have over your portfolio. So, you, in a way, you can kind of curate what goes in there. You have that choice as a creative person. You don't have to just show every single thing that you've done. Actually, that is like probably the worst thing you can do because it confuses the person who's reviewing your body of work. They don't really want to see stuff that you hand drawn drawings when you were a kid. They don't need to see that. They don't need to look at your full body of work. Choose only your best work, definitely. And I guess for me, it's really about going back to basics. Sometimes you can have like the most perfect, portfolio and a nice body of work, but when you look at the fine details, you'll find like typo errors here or there, or you use like the wrong word to describe something, or you labeled something the wrong way. Actually, some people do pick up on those details, and it can kind of turn them off. So really, just make sure that your presentation is very polished, and try to get feedback on your portfolio, from mentors and from colleagues that you trust. Sometimes it really helps to get someone else's eyes on the project before you show it to a client. That way, you get perspective. You're not just in this tunnel vision that you created something and you think you're the best. You need the feedback to actually improve and create something that's really really well put together. And yeah, definitely. I mean, if you want to level up your portfolio, you can also kind of look to your idols or the icons in the industry. Who do you look up to in the graphic design field, in the web design field? Take a look at their body of work and see how they kind of did what they did in their portfolios. Maybe you can pick up a tip or two when looking at their body of work and apply that into your own presentation.